Hello everyone and welcome to Learn Tableau Step by Step series Lab 1. My name is Suhit and in this approximately 1 hour of a video I have a clear 9-point agenda of what we will be learning or what we will be covering in this video. I have these 9 points written down here. So Tableau is a nice and an easy tool. Now to understand in simple words, Tableau is nothing but it is a reporting tool. In simple words, reporting means display of data in an analyzed form, or we can say display of the analyzed data through a bar chart or a pie chart or any other visualization techniques. So Tableau is a reporting tool. Now why Tableau and not any other reporting tools? The reason is very simple. Tableau has many more visualization techniques. Due to a variety of visualization techniques, Tableau is much more preferred than any other reporting tools. Now from where we will be getting this Tableau tool? Simple. We will be just writing this Tableau public edition right here in Google, and the respective links will appear here as we can see. Now these links might change in future because right now I'm recording this video on this date in 2017. So in future if these links change, you don't have to worry about that. Just find the right one and download the public edition from there. Right now I have opened this link, the first link here, and it has redirected me to the Tableau homepage from where I can download this public edition. I have to just simply put an email ID here and I can download the Tableau tool from here. Now this Tableau has many editions as we can see here, the public edition, the personal edition and the professional edition. Now for our learning purpose we will be using this public edition, and we can see this public edition can connect to many data sources like Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel and the CSV files and the text files and other data sources. So after downloading and installing the Tableau public edition, this is how the public edition of Tableau looks like after opening it. On the left hand side we can see different file connections which can connect to Tableau and the server connections which can connect to Tableau. We can extend here and see which all servers can connect to Tableau. Now we will be only concentrating on these file connections. So Tableau produces interactive visualization data which is focused mainly on business intelligence. Now those who are from BI field or business intelligence, they might be knowing the BI concepts like data integration, data reporting, data analysis. So it might be easier for them to understand this Tableau tool. But those who are not aware of the business intelligence technology, for them I will be explaining all the business intelligence related concepts while we are learning this Tableau tool. Now as we discussed that Tableau is a reporting tool, so what exactly do we mean by reporting? Now for example I am having this Excel sheet here which is containing the sales data of a company, and now I want to generate a report which says that net sales, what are the net sales month wise, or what are the net sales year wise, or what are the net sales region wise, or what are the net sales city wise. So now to generate this kind of report I will first analyze the data and then I will put this analyzed or calculated data in a proper visualized form to generate a report. So reporting means to collect the calculated data and display it in a visualized form. Now this visualized form can be anything. It can be a bar chart, or it can be a pie chart, or it can be any kind of other charts. So this is reporting. Now Tableau does exactly this kind of thing. Tableau will take the respective data from the data source. For example here it will take the net sales and it will calculate the net sales according to the month or net sales according to the city, and accordingly it will calculate the data and display it in whatever visualized form we need. For example, we need net sales calculated according to the year. So what Tableau will do, it will take the sales data, net sales data, and it will take the year data, and it will do the calculation, and accordingly it will give us the report. Now suppose we want a bar chart. So what Tableau will do, it will keep the sales data on the y axis, and it will keep the year data, that is 2015, 2016, 2014 on the x axis, and accordingly there will be a bar chart generated. So by looking at the bar chart we will be able to know that what were the sales and how much was the sales in the year 2015 or in the year 2014. So Tableau does this kind of reporting. So for reporting purpose and for analysis purpose, Tableau uses data which is focusing purely on business intelligence. Now what do we mean by business intelligence? In simple words, it is a conversion of data into a valuable information. Now whatever the industries or whatever domain, anywhere we go, data is generated, and that data is a raw data. Now to get something useful from that raw data, we will be using business intelligence technologies, and this raw data will be converted into a useful information so that we can take an informed business decision, and that's where tools like Tableau are used. So business intelligence mainly contains three important components, that is integration, analysis, and reporting. Now integration of data means simply converting the raw data to a useful data. Now our raw data will be containing repeated records or negative records or redundant records. So simply removing those records and making our data useful for analysis. And then in analysis of data, we simply apply formula or do some calculations and then do the forecasting for that data. Now the result which we get from the analysis of data, we then display that result via reporting. So reporting means showing or displaying the analyzed data in a visualized form, whatever visualized form we want, bar chart or pie chart or whatever. So basically, as I can say, business intelligence stands on these three components: integration, analysis, and reporting. Now for analysis and forecasting, we will be needing some valuable data, or I can say intelligent data, and we will be doing this analysis and reporting and forecasting using a Tableau tool. But before moving forward with learning Tableau, there are two important concepts which we need to understand. Those concepts are fact and dimensions, or measures and dimensions. So what do we mean by these fact and dimensions? Now any analysis or forecasting is usually done on numbers, or I can say it is done on a numerical data. For example, in a company, the sales data or the sales of that company or the profit of that company is a numerical data. The sales and profit are the numerical data. So fact or measure is nothing but numbers or numerical data. Now this fact or these measures alone, they do not make any meaning unless and until they are related to something. For example, sales as per region, sales as per product, sales as per year. So this year, region, state, product, these are all nothing but attributes which define the fact, which define the numerical value, or which explain the numerical value, and these attributes are known as dimensions. So dimensions are nothing but attributes which define or explain the fact or measures, or the attributes explaining or defining the numerical value. So fact is nothing but numerical value, and dimension is nothing but attributes defining those numerical values. So after discussing all the basic concepts for learning Tableau, we will now move forward, and the first thing we will learn is that how to connect a database, a data source to the Tableau public tool. Now there are a variety of options which the Tableau public tool has given us. We can connect any kind of files to the Tableau public tool. We can also connect the data source from any of the servers, that is Google Sheets and OData and all. And we can also connect our data source from Tableau public cloud. Now this is kind of a personal cloud server which Tableau has, and to access the data source or data sets from this cloud, we simply have to create an account and we will be able to access all the sample data sets or data source from the Tableau public. But for now we will be only concentrating on the files which are locally present in our machine, that is these Excel files and text files and all, and the data source containing in these files, and we will connect these files with the Tableau tool. Now for this demo purpose I am connecting a Excel file with my Tableau tool. So as you saw, the steps are simple. If I want to connect an Excel file, just click on Excel. A box will open here, a window will open here. Just search the data source or data set available in my computer or in my laptop, and just click on the data source and open the data source. Same is for the text file. Just find the location of the text file and then just open the text file. Same for JSON file also, and same for spatial file and statistical file also. Now these are the file connections which helps us to connect the data source or data sets which are already available with us in our local machine. Now for some reason, or right now in the beginning, you might not have any good data set or good data source with you. So for practice purpose they have given sample data sets here. As you can see on the right hand side, they have given sample data sets. So if we just click on sample data sets, they will just redirect it to the Tableau public page, and we can get the data set from all the domains. There is a science domain data set, there is a government domain data set, the lifestyle domain data set, there's an education domain data set, there's a technology domain, health domain, sports domain, entertainment domain, business domain. So variety of sample data sets we can get. On the right hand side we can just click on any of the format and we can download these data sets here. So if you don't have any good data set or good data source for doing practice, you don't have to worry. Just go to this sample data sets here, and Tableau has given us all the variety of data sets on which we can do the learning or the practice. But for now I will be connecting my Excel file source from here. I have a sample data source known as sample superstore. So I will just connect this Excel file with the Tableau tool. As soon as I click on open, this page opens up here. It says sample superstore. I have connected this database, and as soon as I connect this database, this data source, I can see this data source or data set contains three different sheets. One is containing the data for orders, the other is containing the data for people, and the other is containing the data of returns. So drag sheets here, it means the if you want to see the data of orders or if you want to see the data of people, we have to simply drag the sheets here. I can see the peoples here. Okay, I want to see the data of orders. I will just simply drag and drop the orders sheet and I can see the orders data here. And if I want to see the returns data, I can see the returns data here by dragging and dropping the returns data. So I can view all the data by simply dragging and dropping the respective sheets. and this drag and drop and simple user interface is what makes Tableau a very good and a very nice tool. So now I can drag and drop the sheets here. Also, now Tableau has given us a provision where for doing the analysis, if I want some other data source, other data set to be involved, I can do that also. I can simply go to the data here and I can connect the new data source. Again, the starting page will open where if I am having any data source available in our server or in any of the files, I can connect that. So at a time we can connect two or more data sets here, but for now we will be only working with one data set. Now if you want to navigate to the start page, here is the logo given of Tableau. Just click on it, we will move on to the start page. Again we click on it and we will come on this page here. Alright, so now we will be taking the tables here from our Superstore dataset and drag these tables here for our reporting purpose. So I will just drag the orders table here and I will see the respective data for the orders, and then I will drag these two tables, the people's table and the returns table, and I will be seeing the orders data with respect to people and orders data with respect to the returns. Now as soon as I have dragged this table, we can see there is a join created between the orders and people and between the orders and returns. Now when I drag my mouse here, it says inner join of orders and people, and here it says inner join of orders and returns. So when I drag these tables here, by default it makes an inner join of between the two tables. Now if we want to change the join, for example, I want to make a left join between the orders and the returns, or I want to make a full outer join between orders and people. So just click on this diagrammatic representation which is given here, and it will give me all the joins available here. And full outer join between orders and people, I have to just select the full outer join, and I have to just select on which property I want to do the join, on which key I want to do the join. So just select the property from here and select the property from the people's table here, and I will be able to make a full outer join between these two tables. Similarly, I can make the right join, the left join between the tables, but for now we will be keeping the inner join between the orders and people. By default it makes an inner join when we drag and drop the tables, and the inner join between returns and orders also the same thing we can do. We can simply select any of the join and we can change the join between the two tables we want. So right now there is an inner join between orders and returns also. So inner join, left join, right join and full outer join, these all joins are SQL Server concepts and you must all be knowing these joins very well, but a quick revision of these joins would help get things better. So inner join means it includes all the matching values from both the tables, and the left join, it includes all the values from the left table and only the matching values from the right table. In right join, it includes all the values from the right table and only the matching values from the left table. And in full outer join, it includes all the values from both the tables whether they are matching or not, including the nulls. So these are the four kind of joins. And suppose if you are getting confused like what kind of join it is, you can just look at these diagrams. They pretty much explain what kind of joins they are, and we will be able to know, we will be able to get quick idea of what kind of join is being used, whether it is inner join or left join or right join or full outer join. Now suppose if I want to make a left join between orders and people, so I just go to the diagram and I simply select the left join here. Now while choosing the properties here, if I'm making some kind of mistake or if I'm selecting some other properties, like for example I'm selecting discount here, so the discount and region, the region people, they are not matching, and if I am not sure whether this join is proper or not, or it is valid or not, I have to just simply look at this diagram. When I drag my mouse here, it says type mismatch between join fields. It means that these two types are not matching, and therefore this left join is invalid. And therefore, if we are not sure that whether this join is proper or not, we have to just look at this diagram here. Now if I once again go to the select the region property here, I can see the red sign has gone and the blue sign has came here, which means that our join is proper or our join is valid. So if we want to know that whether our join is proper or not, we have to just look at this diagram here and we will be able to know. So left join between orders and people, the join is proper. But for now we will be only using inner join between these tables. So inner join between orders and people and inner join between orders and returns. So now after adding all the respective tables here and displaying all the respective data, we will now move on to our worksheet. Now worksheet means where we will be doing our actual reporting or our actual analysis or the actual calculation. And down below we see there are different tabs shown here, and there is a data source tab. Now this data source tab is nothing but this whole page here. So this whole page is this data source tab, and here we have another tab which says sheet 1. Now sheet 1 means our worksheet where we'll be doing the reporting. So just click on this sheet 1 here, and okay, yes. So as soon as we clicked on the sheet 1, our sheet has opened and we see a lot of things here. Now don't get panicked by seeing all this lot of things. We will be going slowly and understanding all of these things one by one. So first of all, on the left hand side we see there are dimensions and measures or facts present here. Now in our database, our sample superstore database, we had three tables, that is orders, peoples and returns. So whatever dimensions are present in these tables or whatever dimensions are present in this database, all those dimensions are listed here in this dimensions tab. So orders has category, city, country, customer name, customer ID, order date, order ID. So all these dimensions from the orders table are listed here. Also from the people's table, there is a person, there is a region for people. Then in the returns table there is order ID in the returns and returns. So these are the dimensions present in our database which are listed here. Now as the dimensions are listed, also the measures present in our database are listed here. So for now we are having only four measures, that is sales, quantity, profit and discount. So these four measures are present in our database, and according to these dimensions and measures we will be doing our analysis or we will be doing our reporting. Now here there is a tab which shows which database we are using, or it says these dimensions and measures are from which database. So for now these dimensions and measures are from the sample superstore database. Now coming to the center here, we see there is a sheet label given here. We can change this name and give it to some other name. So I can change the name here also by just editing the title, or I can just name the sheet here also by just doing the right click and renaming the sheet. So I can rename the sheet here, and in the center this space, now this space is where our actual visualized report will be generated. So whatever dimensions and measures we use, the visualized report which we want is generated here, and this visualized report we will be showing it, displaying it to our end customer or our end client. So whatever report will be generated here, visualized report, this report will be shown to the end user. So we will be making this report here by using the dimensions and measures. Now For making the report here, we have something called as columns and rows. So by putting the appropriate dimensions and measures in the columns field and the rows field, different kinds of visualized reports will be generated here. So on the right hand side, we see there are many visualized reports provided by Tableau, and it is under the tab named show me. So this tab contains all the visualized report, and each visualized report has its own requirement. Now when I just drag my mouse here, it says below, it says that it is a text table. So now for text table, it says it needs one or more dimensions, or it needs one or more measures. Now if we go to the bar chart, horizontal bars, it says it needs 0 or more dimensions and it needs one or more measures. So every visualization technique has its own requirement, and according to this requirement we have to create a report here. So by just doing the manipulations in the columns and rows by adding the dimensions and measures, we will be able to create a desired visualized report here. Now while we are working in this sheet, and suppose if we want to add a new data set or a new database, we can simply go to this option here which says new data source. So just click on this option, and we will be again seeing the starting page of the Tableau, where we will be connecting our database by using a file connection or a server connection or any other connections. So just adding a new database is very easier while we are working in our sheet. Also, if I want to add a new worksheet, I can simply go on this option here, a new worksheet. I just click it and the new worksheet is added, a new worksheet is generated. Also I can go to this option here below, and I can just click on this option and a new worksheet will be generated. So I can either go from here to create a new worksheet, or either I can go from here to create a new worksheet. So for now I am removing this worksheet here, so delete the worksheet, because we'll be only needing only one worksheet for our demo purpose. So delete the worksheet here. So just adding the worksheet, new worksheets, or deleting, removing the new worksheet is very simple. Okay, so now we will move forward and generate a visualized report right here. And for creating this visualized report, we will be needing dimensions and measures from our Superstore database. So we will be adding these dimensions and measures to our respective columns and the rows shelf. So for example, I am taking, let's say, category. So I'm adding this category dimension to the columns here. Okay, and now I want to take a measure. So I want to make sure what are the sales. I want to see what are the sales of each of the category. So I will be taking the sales measure and I will be adding it to our rows shelf. Alright, so now as soon as I have added the category and the sales measure to the respective columns and the rows, I can see a bar report is generated here, a visualized bar report is generated, and by looking at this bar report I am able to tell what are the sales amount for each of the category. Now if I want to see the exact amount, I just have to drag my mouse to this vertical bars here, and I will be able to see the exact sales amount. So I can see for technology the exact sales is 72,708. For office supplies the exact sales is 48,577. So in short, I can say that to generate a visualized report here, we have to just make some manipulations by adding the dimensions and measures to the respective columns and the rows, and we will be able to generate a variety of visualized reports here. So I can say in Tableau generating a visualized report is very much easy. But now it is not necessary that we add the dimensions only to the columns and add the measures only to the rows. We can add the dimensions to the rows as well as to the columns also. Same for the measures, we can add the measures to the columns as well as rows also. For example, right now the category dimension, if I add this dimension to the row and take the sales measure to the columns, what will happen? So I'm adding the category dimension here in the rows and adding the sales measure to the columns. So I can see the report has generated and the sales amount are also same. So the only difference is that previously it was vertical bars and now it is horizontal bars. So by interchanging the dimensions and measures into the columns and rows, the report remains the same, but only the visualization changes. In case of bar charts, if the visualization is vertical, if the bars are vertical, then they become horizontal, and if the bars are horizontal, they become vertical. Now, also one more thing, that it is not necessary that we add only one dimension or we add only one measure to our columns and rows. Now suppose if we have a report where we require two dimensions and one measure. So what we will be doing? We can add one or more dimensions and add one or more measures to our columns and rows. For example, I want the sales to be reported category wise and to be reported segment wise. So I will be taking the segment dimension and adding it to the rows here, and I will be able to see the category and their segments and their respective sales amount. Also, I can add one or more measures. So if I want to see the sales and the profit category wise, I'll be taking the profit dimension and adding it to the columns, and I'll be able to see the sales and the profit category wise in a different graph or in a different report. So in this way I can interchange the position of my dimensions and measures into the columns and rows, and also I can add one or more dimensions or I can add one or more measures to my columns and rows according to the requirement of my report. So now if we see that when we added the sales measure to our columns and rows, we saw that it automatically did a pre-calculation known as sum. Now the sum calculation means the sum or the addition of sales. So Tableau by default does this kind of a pre-calculation. So whenever I add any of the measures into the columns and rows, it does a pre-calculation known as sum. So if I want to see the sum of profit, I can just drag this profit measure and I can see the sum of the profit. If I want to see the discount, I can see the discount. So the sum of discount, the sum of profit, the sum of sales. So this sum is a pre-calculation done by Tableau. So Tableau does this kind of pre-calculations so that our analysis or our reporting gets better. Also now on the left hand side we see there are different cards or different shelves available. There is a marks card, there is a filters card, and there is a pages card. So we will understand all these cards or all these shelves one by one. First of all, the marks card. What is this marks card? What this marks card do? So marks, it is nothing but when we drag these fields, drag these dimensions and measures into our view. This is our view. So when we drag these fields, these dimensions and measures into our view via columns and rows, the data here in the view is displayed using the marks. So this thing is the marks, this thing is the data. So this data is displayed using the marks, and each data or each marks is represented by the intersection of the dimensions, all the dimensions available in this view. So for now in this view we have two dimensions. So this data, this marks data, is the intersection of category and segment, the intersection of these two dimensions. So office supplies and corporate, technology and home office. So this data is an intersection of these two dimensions, category and segment. Now also, if we want to show this data into different forms, then we have a drop down here where we can select in what form we want to see our marks data. If I want to see the data, if I want to see the marks in a bar form, I can simply select the bar here. I can see the marks in the bar form. I can select the circle and I can see the marks in the circle form. I can select text form and I can see the text form here. And if I select an automatic, it means that this marks card by itself it will figure out which kind of mark form is suitable for this kind of view. Also, if we want, we can show some additional information about these data, and to show this additional information we can use these options, that is colors, size, text, details, tooltip, etc. So now I'm taking this sales measure and I'm adding it to the marks card. So here I can see this sales has by default used the detail option of the marks card. Now if I want to see my sales, I want to see the additional data of the sales using some colors. So I can just drag this measure here and put it on the colors option, and I can see different shades of color here. And on the right hand side I see the description of these shades, like the light blue color is for this sales amount, the dark blue color is for this sales amount. Also, if I want to display this data using some sizes, then I can simply take this measure and drop it on the size option, and I can see the data in a size form. And on the right hand side again I can see the different sizes, that is for small size this is the sales amount, for large size this is the sales amount, and accordingly we can see the small and large size here. Also, if we want to only display the additional information via using some text or via using some labels, so we can simply take this measure and drop it to the label, and we can see the exact amount for all the details here, all the data here in the marks. So in short, this marks card helps us to display our data using various forms like bar form or a line form or a circle form, etc. And it also helps us to show the additional information of this data using the options like color, size, text, etc. Now moving on to the filters card or the filters shelf. Now this filter shelf is nothing but it helps us to specify which values to be included and which values to be excluded in the report using the dimensions and measures. So if I take the sales measure and add it to the filters here, it gives us an option like in what way I want to apply my filter. I want to do the sum of the filters, or I want to do the minimum of the filters, or I want to do the maximum of the filters, or any other options here. So if I select sum here and if I select next here, it gives us again the options like how we want to apply our filters. I want to apply our filters using the range of values, or using the at least value, that is the minimum value, or using the at most value, like selecting the maximum value, or using the special filter like selecting the null values or selecting all the non-null values. So if I select the range of values and if I select the range of 30,000, okay, 30,798, so the minimum range is 6,252 and the maximum range is 30,798. And if I apply this range here and if I say OK, I can see that those data which are outside the range, it is showing the blank here, and all those data which are inside the range, the data is displayed here. So the minimum amount of 6,253 till the maximum amount of 24,000. So all the data between the minimum range to the maximum range of 30,000 are shown here. Those data which are outside the range are excluded here. So the filters card is nothing but it helps us to specify which values we want to include or which values we want to exclude in our report using the dimensions and measures. So after the filters card or the filters shelf, we move on to the pages card or the pages shelf. Now what work does this pages shelf do? This pages shelf, it is nothing but it helps us in breaking down our view. Now this is our view. So this pages card helps us in breaking down a view into series of pages so that we can better analyze on how the specific field affects the whole data. Now if we are adding a measure into the pages card, then this measure will be automatically converted into a discrete measure. Also, if we are adding a dimension to the pages card, it is like adding a new row for each member in the dimension. Okay, now understanding this pages card with an example. Now here we can see that there are 9 different fields, 9 different values. So when I will be adding my sales measure to the pages card or the pages shelf, this whole view will be divided into 9 different pages. That is 9 values, 3 here, 3 here and 3 here. So for these 9 values, this view will be divided into 9 different pages. So each page will show us a individual value and how that value is affecting the whole data. So now if I'm adding the sales measure to my pages card, I can see only one value here, and on the right hand side I can see there is a navigation bar. Now there is a forward button here. So when I click on this forward arrow, I can see the next data on the next page and the next data on the next page. So by clicking on the forward button here, I can see all the next data from the next page, and this data is in ascending order, that is from the lowest to the highest. We can see this data, the lowest value is 6253. So when I go for the forward arrow, it goes to 7000, then 9000, then 16,000, then 17,000, then 17,705, then 24,000, then 31,000 and then 48,000. So in this way these 9 values are divided into 9 different pages, so that by looking at each of the individual value we will be able to know how this value or how this field is affecting the whole data. Now we are manually changing and displaying these values here. Now if we want our end customer to see these values automatically move forward, there are navigation buttons here. This is a forward button, this is a backward button, and this is the stop button. So if I am clicking on the forward button, the values here will be automatically moving forward. So from 6000 to the end value of 48,000, these 9 pages will move automatically. So when I click on this forward button here, we can see the values are moving automatically. So these 9 pages are moving automatically until the last value. Now this is a backward button. If I press this backward button here, this values will be shown in the descending order, that is from the highest to the lowest. So in this way, if I am adding a measure to the pages card, my values here, my fields here will be divided into different pages, and these values will become more discrete. So there were 9 values, 9 fields here. These 9 fields were divided into 9 pages, and on each page we are able to see an individual value or the individual field. Now if I am adding a dimension here, for example if I add the segment dimension here into the pages card, I can see that this segment dimension is having 3 members inside it: a consumer member, corporate member and the home office member. So as per the pages shelf definition, if we are adding a dimension, it is like adding a new row for each member in the dimension. So for our segment dimension, we are having 3 members here, and for these 3 members, 3 different pages are created. So this whole view is divided into 3 different pages, and each page will be showing the value of each member. So for the segment, there are 3 pages created. One is for consumer, the other is for corporate, and the other is for home office. So the first page will be showing all the consumer sales values. If we click on the next one, it will show the corporate sales values, and if we go next, it will show the home office sales values. So in this way, the pages card or the pages shelf helps us in breaking down this view so that we can better analyze and make sure that the specific field makes some effect in the whole data. Or we can say this pages shelf or the pages card helps us to analyze that the specific fields are doing any kind of change in the whole data or not. So quickly revising, in this video we learned a lot of things. First of all, we saw what is Tableau and why do we use Tableau, what is the reason that we use only the Tableau tool and not the other tools, and then we saw from where to download and install the Tableau public tool, and we also saw that why we are using this public version and not the other versions of Tableau. And after installing the Tableau, we did discuss about the business intelligence concepts, that is what is BI, what is business intelligence, and what are the facts and what are the dimensions. Like facts are the numerical values, dimensions are the attributes that define those numerical values. In this way we discussed the BI concepts, and after that we did see in the Tableau public tool how to connect a data source or a database to the Tableau public tool, and we saw there are various ways given to connect a database to the Tableau tool. There is a file connection way, there is a server way, or if we have our report saved in the Tableau public cloud, then we can also take the data source from that Tableau public cloud, and then we did actually connect a Excel file, that is we did connect our database from an Excel file and connected with this Tableau public tool. After connecting that database, we did see that there were 3 different sheets in that database. We did connect the sample superstore database, and in those database we saw there were orders and people and returns, these 3 sheets, and then we did join these 3 sheets using the SQL joins like the inner join, and along with that we did also discussed about the other SQL joins, that is the left join, the right join, the full outer join, and according to those joins we also saw the respective data below the joins. And after that we did generate a simple report. We did generate the simple report here by just dragging and dropping the dimensions and measures to the columns or rows, and we did also see that by adding one or more dimensions or one or more measures to the columns and rows changes our visualization here. We did see that there are many visualizations provided by Tableau tool, and each visualization technique has its own requirement. Like for this horizontal bar, it needs 0 or more dimensions and 1 or more measures. It is displayed here. And then after that we saw how to create a new worksheet from here, to add a new worksheet from here, or we have an option here to add a new worksheet. And we also saw that while we are working in this current workbook or the current worksheet, we can add another data source to it. And after that we discussed about the different shelves here, the different cards, that is the marks card, the filters card, the pages card here, and how these cards help in making our report better. We saw different tools used in the marks card. We also saw how the filters are used, what is the use of this pages card, and how they affect our report. So in this way we did learn a lot of things from this video, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. So thank you very much.